now we can offer a hammerhead winch that also can provide an ESID system, electrical strike. We've been working with CMW behind the scenes, Ditch, California, to really roll this out because PG&E is some of it more or less required those. Is that all I get out of you, Mike?
Oh, no. I was looking to see, I had some other videos of splitting and stuff like that, and I was gonna...
There's Cameron.
When did we start this?
Ditch, California put this on the first unit to show, and we've been working behind the scenes with CMW to try to incorporate the electric strike coil into our winch, where it's not something on the outside.
It wouldn't be hard to do that.
No, we already have a bracket that we built in engineering when I was back here a couple weeks ago, and it's all set up to actually put the coil into it. The question is right now, attorneys. It's the law department at CMW that is sitting on their desk, and until we get a yay or a nay from them, we can't touch it. We can't do anything more. So
somebody kept crossing in the high gear.
So, you know, and before I show back up again, I'll show you guys some pictures of what TT was doing. To give you some background, this in the U.S. started with a company called Southwest Gas, a company down here in Nevada and Southern Cali, some different areas. And TT went out there originally with a smaller winch, a 5-ton winch, with a piercing tool. I forgot the size of the piercing tool. It was about that 3 to 3.5 inch, wasn't it?
3 inch tool. I was going to say 2.5 to 3 inch tool.
It's 3 1/3.
3 1/3.
Yeah, the 3 1/3 inch.
So, anyways, kind of like a pneumatic pipe burst, they were using this, and this is to split Adelaide, PVC, other different types of fractional gas pipe. And
what we got to keep in mind, before we had the PV30 static unit, our small service bursting used to consist of a 3-inch piercing tool with an air-driven winch that you mounted on the front side, the pole, and you burst the same scenario. So they're using that for basically what we were doing, like Alan was explaining, using the piercing tool and the rest of it. And we found out that from a static standpoint, it just works so much smoother and nicer to do this instead of using a pneumatic setup.
The other big problem with PT setup, if you can imagine, is you got a piercing tool. How long is our 3-inch piercing tool? Anybody know?
1.54
inches. So you got a long piercing tool. Well, what we came about noticing was that a lot of these gas lines had either been open cut and they had some bends in them, or maybe they were directional bored in, they had some bends in them, and these piercing tools weren't able to negotiate those bends. They would come up to a bend and it finally just sucker out of production. It would never make it from point A to point B, whether it was 300-400 feet. The time involved to set this thing up was very time consuming. They were running a loop line. But the biggest issue is they had a very, very long tooling string from a splitter to expander to a hammer. What we did was we shortened up this whole thing. And through a variation of, we used to have a solid piece, meaning the splitter and the bolt were one piece. Now the splitter actually slides on. This splitter can be replaced while keeping the bulb intact. So all they have to do is replace a new blade. But what this does, and then also this back part, what it does is it allows you to have a real small tooling string that also has some flexibility, I guess you'd say. Even more recently, kind of behind the scenes, Mike, I'm going to kind of let you take the lead here. We've been working on some other, I guess you'd say, tooling arrangements or configurations that'll even give us more flexibility there. You want to go into any details?
Well, actually, first of all, Cameron back there, you can thank him for the length that we have here and the flexibility we have so much, because he's been working with engineering and through Alan and the rest of it to get us to this point, because we had a specific way of looking at things and the rest of it, and until he opened up our eyes and said, listen, you guys are, pardon me for saying, fucking up. You better do something different, more like this, and that's where we came basically to this design. You know, it's a really nice modular design setup. Like Alan was saying, this blade assembly, you can remove it, you can take and put bigger blades on, smaller, bigger bulb, a bigger pulling assembly, and each one of these, at this point here, this is rigid. So from here to here, there is no flexibility there except for your blade assembly. you have a bolt assembly that goes through there through your expanding duct puller, so you have flexibility on the back. But this is actually an older picture too. We've cut this piece down to here, so it really stands out no farther than this to try to shorten this up as possible. And then with the new SLU assembly, SLU slitting lower unit, that is retrofittable on any of the 12-ton or the 20-ton winches. You can put that in, and it gives you a little bit more flexibility also, where you can extend from 30 inches from a short all the way out so that you can literally pull 48 inches of your product up before you have to